I literally just had a camp, I'm going to say 2-3 weeks ago, youth football camp, myself, my other co-regional director, Kasim Reed, and we partnered up with Legacy Youth Foundation, which is from Michigan. And we held a camp at Enon. You know, Enon don't really live, they don't live in Mayfield out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That was a major feature.
Shout out to Enon.
Yeah, got to give Pastor Wall a shout out because they don't.
Shout out to Enon for allowing us to use that field, but we were able to have close to 200 kids away from any danger for 3 to 4 hours. Not only that, we had former NFL players there, we had teachers there, principals, we had community activists there, and it was a bunch of uplifting men there. And for almost 200 young men to see that, it's something that they need to see. It wasn't so sports focused.
Right.
It was other than that. We hear somebody curse, we put a stop to it. Yo, we pull them aside, had that conversation with them. Like we got to show these people how to move because they're not being taught that.
We are live here in the studio on Spiritual Connect Radio. I'm in here with my man, Chris Pender Jr.
Yes.
Chris Pender Sr. We're missing some comrades today, but welcome to Above Average Black Men. We empower, inspire, and uplift the community. And I end every show, we're going to start every show, as my dad always told me, man, you have 2 choices in life. You can either shrink to your circumstance or rise to the occasion. On this show, we choose to rise to the occasion.
Yes.
Man. So we're here to educate, empower, equip, and inspire.
Yes.
That's what we're here to do tonight, man. So hope you guys are in there, man, and we're going to talk about purpose. We are going to talk about purpose tonight. We're going to give our guests a few seconds to try to arrive. If not, we're going to jump into this thing. So what I'm going to do is...
I think either way, we can still jump into it and always double back. Like,
well, let's jump into it, man. So you had a comment or question about purpose. Let's start there.
For me, purpose is forever evolving. And, when you're young, your idea of purpose is like these short, small, in my mind, small-minded accomplishments or things.
Yeah.
And I've gotten older, more mature, and I feel like having more life experiences and starting to settle in what I believe my purpose is. And again, purpose is interesting because I think it embodies a lot of different things. And I wanted to kind of talk to you about that tonight because, I feel as though you're a purpose-driven guy. You pretty much raised me on those type principles, and again, it's a heavy foundation in my life. So I wanted to have this conversation with you tonight to just think about what's your definition of purpose? What do you see in that? And, how is and why is that important? And raising a child, or just even in your own personal life.
2 things. One, I want to take time out to say this, man. This show is sponsored by FamCom, Families and Communities on the Move, and Hungry.
Yes, sir. Hungry Sports Camp.
I want to make sure that that's out there known, man. But yeah, purpose to me is huge. I think purpose and vision go hand in hand. I think purpose is the difference from being mediocre, and pursuing excellence. I think purpose is what's lacking a lot of people. I'll use athletes as a perfect example, and then I'll get into why I think it's important. I think if you get a guy like a lot of those old school players like Michael Jordan,
right.
Charles Barkley, a little closer, Allen Iverson. They believed they were created to play basketball. Those guys believed that was their purpose. That was them being Mozart. That was them being Michelangelo. Mm-hmm. That was their masterpiece. And I think a lot of modern day players, Charles Barkley said this, and I agree with him, don't reach the greatness or the status they should because they don't view it that way. It's just a hobby to them. It's just something I do that I happen to be good at. And I think when you understand purpose, that's what you were built for. When you understand purpose, that's the thing that man, that for me, wakes me up in the morning. I can have a rough night, a rough day, but when I wake up in the morning, you know what? I know this is my purpose. I give you the perfect example. Today I had to present to kids. I told you we did this thing with the radio show. I had to put something on the fly together because we had somebody coming in and we were short-staffed. And people look at me afterwards like, yo, you act like you rehearsed that. In my mind, I rehearsed this 1,000 times because it's my purpose. My purpose is I'm always going to be prepared because this is what I do.
That's interesting. I feel like the purpose and preparedness.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of was referencing when I feel like that's one thing that it embodies. is there's a sense of preparedness into this. You know, like
Yeah.
you have to go through some things. Sometimes it's potentially trial and error. Again, kind of backtracking and referencing what I was saying when having young and feeling as though your purpose, referencing what you said about basketball, and just with basketball players, I kind of got mixed feelings about that statement because LeBron James is a great basketball player, but I feel like maybe his purpose is bigger than that.
But you can have more than one purpose. But he understood that was his
The
purpose.
engine to get
That
to
person,
that, okay.
that purpose was going to open up other doors. LeBron James didn't start trying to play tennis. He didn't start trying to make commercials or modeling before he used that purpose to get him to the position to do other things.
Right.
So you can have purpose and not be pigeonholed.
And it can evolve.
Yeah. Like old school here, Reggie White. You know, Reggie White was a football player, but he was a minister, and he talked about that all the time. My goal is to share the gospel, and he said, come on, man. He said his purpose. You know, God gave him the gift of football, but his purpose was to share the gospel. So therefore, he used that platform, you know, in sports, you know, to get another purpose to share the gospel. So we got my man Devin just showed up. We're talking about purpose as we're waiting for Dom Curry to show up. We're talking about purpose and the importance of purpose. So I think, you know what, and I think, you know, so something you get a chance to get in it, man. But you know, just think about what purpose means to you. Because Chris asked me the question, purpose and why did I think it was important, and I was explaining to him, you know, that's your fuel, man. That's what wakes you up in the morning. You know, when life gets tough, you know, that's what keeps you going. You know, for me, I can have the toughest day, man, and I'm able to refuel because, you know what, I know this is my purpose. This is not my hobby. You know, I know that tomorrow I get another shot at this, and I know it's what I'm born to do. You know, and I know as long as I continue to hone and craft my skill, I'm going to get better at it because of the gift that I have. It doesn't mean this is the only thing I can do, but it means, you know, me doing workshops for kids and families, all the stuff I do in FamCom, that's what I was created to do. You know, coaching was great for me. I loved it, but that was just a skill I was learning to hone my purpose. You see what I mean? So I think that's a lot of times we get it confused. I think a lot of marriages fail because couples get married and they don't find a purpose for their relationship. You know, they get married and say, well, we're just in love. Yeah, but you have gifting, and if you put your gifting together, you should be able to create something. Maybe it's a business, maybe it's a ministry, maybe it's your family. You know, that when people come together, they should find some commonality, man. What is our purpose together? What can we create? I give you the perfect example. Your mom and I could only create you. No other two people could create you. You were created because your mom and I got together. You know, because we got together and we said, okay, we want to get married and we want to have a family. Now, I say it because me fulfilling my purpose and her fulfilling her purpose was different because my purpose was to do what I'm doing. You know what I mean? That was my purpose. My purpose is to do FamCom, you know, to do workshops with families and fathers and parents and design programs and run after school programs. That's what I was created to do. Now your mom, that was not her purpose. Your mom is created to be, you know, and somebody gonna take this the wrong way, but she'll get it. She's created to be kind of like my sandpaper. And what I mean by that is because she challenged me, because she's gonna ask me the questions I need to have asked. She's gonna make sure I think this thing through. She's gonna make sure, you know, that I stay on task and I don't do crazy stuff. And so we have two different purposes, but our purpose together, you know, is to excel to be the best we can be. So that's why it's important, man, to you know, to have purpose and stay on point with it. So I think that's really, really, really important. And I say that because, you know, too many people go through life, man, and they have no purpose, man. And, I say this all the time, especially when I was in my younger youth pastor days. I used to say, man, who wants, you know, most people, they born, they pass through earth, and they die. And when they get to the graveyard, they get to the funeral, the pastor says the same thing.